WordPress users! Welcome to WP Interactions. Today I'll walk you through the process of creating your first dynamic interaction on your WordPress site step by step. Here's a page made with patterns from the 2024 theme. It has two interactions, a button click that navigates to a new section, and text columns that fade in and fade out when the section enters and exits the view. Let's get started. The first interaction we want to make is the button that scrolls to a new section. Select the button block and click the Add Interaction to Block button. From the list, choose Click. Now let's assign a new name to this interaction. It's time to add our actions. Head to the Action timeline and click the plus button. In the Add Action menu, look for the Scroll to Element action in the navigation group. Now let's customize the properties of our action. The scroll position property determines the vertical alignment of the element target after scrolling. The options are top, center, and bottom. Let's select center to ensure that the content is centered when the click navigates to the next section. The next setting is the scroll offset, which determines the position of the element relative to the scroll position. This is measured in pixels. Since we've selected center, we don't need it in this case. Next, we need to select the element we want the window to scroll to when the user clicks the button. In the drop-down menu, select Block. Now click the Target button and select the group block containing our second section. Now we just need to adjust the timing of our action. Here, we have starting time, which is the number of seconds between the trigger and this action. We want the page to navigate immediately, so we'll leave this at 0. Next is the duration, which is the number of seconds the action will take. Let's set it to 0.8 seconds, so the transition won't be too fast or too slow. Lastly, the easing setting defines the movement of an action over its duration to create more natural and visually appealing movements. You can experiment with the different options here, but for now we'll select Ease Out Expo. This will make our scrolling action smooth. Now let's save this interaction. You may get a warning asking if you want to save the block anchors WP Interactions has added. Just click OK and preview our post on the front end. We're done with the first part of our interaction. Now we'll make the content of the second section display in a staggered manner once it's in view. Going back to the block editor, let's select the first text column. Click Add Interaction to Block and select Entered into Viewport. Let's give it its unique name and start building the actions. In the Entered into Viewport action timeline, we need to add a starting state action. This determines the appearance or condition of the block before the trigger is fired. So let's add an opacity action and set it to 0. For the element target, we'll keep it to interaction trigger. Now, in the timing controls, turn on the Set as Starting State toggle. Next, we'll need to add an action that will play out after the trigger is fired. Let's copy and paste the action we just made. In the action settings, set the opacity property to 1 and turn off the Set as Starting State toggle. In the timing controls, let's leave the starting time to 0, the duration to 0.6, and leave the easing as is. Then, in the Exited Viewport action timeline, let's copy and paste the action we just made, but this time, set the opacity to 0. Let's save this interaction and preview it in the front end. As you can see, this is only being applied to the first text column. To apply this action to each text column one by one, we'll assign a CSS class to each column block so we can target this in our interaction. Going back to the editor, select the first column and go to the block settings. In the advanced panel, you'll find the additional classes setting. Here, we'll put display column on scroll. Now repeat this for the rest of the columns in each section. Once that's done, let's go back to the WP interaction sidebar. Select the interaction we've previously created, and in the actions, let's change the element target to CSS class and put in the display column on scroll class we added to each column. Then, in the timing controls, set the stagger to 0.2. Don't forget to do the same for the exited viewport actions. Now let's test how it looks on the front end. That looks great! And that's it. You've successfully created your first interaction with WP Interactions. Now, go ahead and explore more possibilities to enhance your WordPress site. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips and tutorials. Thanks for watching!